By Peter Kirkham, former Detective Chief Inspector at the Metropolitan Police and founder of the Kiyan Prince Foundation. Mark Prince, who set up the foundation in honour of his son, who was stabbed to death in 2006, also joins us. Mark, why don't we just start with how you feel things have changed since your own son was stabbed in 2006?
It's changed and just got so much worse because it's like you're saying, I'm going to treat this sickness that's making me grow a tumour and just become more ill, and you're saying it and doing nothing about it and watching yourself dying.
What could be done on this scale then? Because this is an epidemic.
It is, absolutely, and I've been referring to it as that on Twitter for a long time. We've got to have a proper government-led plan, getting all the agencies that have got a role to play here. They've got this strategy, but it's a few random thoughts on the subject, and they're not doing anything in any sort of coherent and coordinated way. There's two broad aspects. The police suppress crime. They deal with the symptoms, if you like. When someone's decided to carry a knife and use it on the street, they deal with the symptoms and they clear up afterwards. But people like Mark and things like the Kiyan Prince Foundation, they do the work on the actual underlying causes, but the government need to address those as well, and that's the bit that's missing right now.
Well, in the absence of that addressing, what can a voluntary project like yours, in memory of your son, actually achieve? What is it achieving?
It's having an awesome impact. Because we've gone into schools, and because we've lived that life and we can engage with young people at such a high level, they understand where we've come from. We understand the streets, the suburban areas. They understand that we get where they're coming from. So when we engage with them and we've shown them that we've come from this and made something of ourselves, there's a better way. There's other ways to do it. So we let them see the direction that their path is taking them in. It's really simple.
Do you think you change minds?
Oh, it's so evident. We've got so much work to evidence how young people have changed, how they've become authors, how they've become on TV themselves. Hollyoaks, Dwayne Boaz from Hollyoaks said it openly on the Visas Awards, how coming down to his school, meeting and having this talk that we've done has changed his life. We've evidenced this, so we now want to take this in a campaign throughout the country so we can create more Dwayne Boazes.
I mean, Peter, what an outsider like me looking in sees is cuts in police, 20%, the probation service changed beyond recognition, many other facets of society that used to work on young people, whatever their race or creed, have disintegrated.
They have, and the causes of the knife crime, just like any other crime, and it comes out of street crime and street drug dealing, is intimately linked with that. But the causes are socioeconomic. They're things like education and housing and mental health and parental breakdown, people coming out of care with no support. There's a dozen different angles that all need to be addressed.
But then you're talking about a response on a scale probably undreamt of.
Undreamt of by this government. They seem to think they have a little talking shop and whatever, and they get the voluntary sector to do their great work, but what capacity have they got, and is it done in a coherent way? Is it done everywhere, or is it just done for a few in a particular place? They work really well, but there's different things being done with different kids in different categories. But there needs to be a coherent, coordinated strategy, and they're not doing it.
On the private side, therefore, I mean, how many other Kiyan Prince Foundation type organisations are there?
There's some wonderful organisations, some great people doing some great work.
All over the country?
All over the country. And he's nailed it. It's about bringing people together. It's about working strategically.
But you talked about talking to individuals in schools and groups like that. But what about gangs? Isn't the gang at the core of this?
Oh, where do these individuals come from? They come through the school system. They're being excluded. They've gone into PRUs. So we can't talk as if they just sprung up and become a gang, you know. They've come from the normal school system like any other child. They're just normal young people.
And presumably your former colleagues in the Met and everywhere else know this.
Well, they know it perfectly well, but they've neither the capacity nor the skills to do that, and they haven't got the funding to fund it themselves. They're begging the government to get a grip. We need to intervene with kids that have been victims, with kids whose friends have been victims. with kids that have been arrested and are in prison and coming out of prison. We need to intervene in different ways with all of them. We know what the answers are, we're just not doing it.
Do you have any confidence that government will move eventually, that the scale of this will beckon them into action?
I'll tell you what confidence I have is in the passion and commitment that Kiyan Prince Foundation has shown since my son's been buried, that many other organisations have shown. That's the confidence that I do have.
Well, Mark, thank you very much indeed, Mark Prince, for coming in, and Peter Kirkham, thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy.
Thanks, John.